this show about anyway? Who knows? But it's probably totally random. Can we discuss what's going on? Laughing at that man from Florida. Guess what star will die before long? It's like mixing pancakes, tequila, and ramen. So forgive me for waiting this long to ask, what's this show about anyway? Who knows? But it's probably totally random. Now we're ready to review some terrible films you rated a mess, smile or smirk. But between you and me, pukes the review. And how long has it been since Colin said, forgive me for waiting this long to ask, what's this show about anyway? Who knows? But it's probably totally random.
And welcome, everybody, to another edition of PTR Radio here on the fabulous interweb. Oh. I do feel like it's been a while since we've been on.
Well, it's been 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's not our normal 2.
Yeah, it has been a little bit of a time, you know. So, welcome, everybody. This is PTR Radio. It does stand for Probably Totally Random, and that is exactly what we talk about on this show. Anything and everything that comes to our little brains, as you just heard in the show, or in the intro, you know, it's going to vary. So when we go one way, you can bet in a few seconds something shiny is going to take our attention over to something else. And so if you looked at the little blurb that we put out saying this is what the show's about tonight, guarantee we're going to get to about 2 of those things. And about a dozen other things that aren't on there at all. Which really makes going back through and posting these a real problem. So. Oh, anyway, it's Shaggy Colin and Mike the 8-Man here, as always. Oh. It's been a long few weeks.
Yes, I have.
You know, a few things have happened, most of which we're not going to talk about. But there are a few things that we will talk about. Coming up on the show, Mike has some questions about office accessories. He gives us a health update. Colin is going to review presidents. Best to worst, worst to best, I don't know, something like that. And I have a question about a truck. So all those things are coming up in the show. But first and foremost, Mike, you said there's a movie coming to life before our very eyes. It's not very encouraging that we're pretty soon people are going to be yelling out in the street, it's people. It's really people.
Oh, God. Yeah, Soylent Green. People. People. I want to know who's... Washington State, home of Seattle. This is probably the secret to Starbucks coffee, right? Apparently, it's legal now in Washington State to compost humans as opposed to cremation. You can compost human beings.
Well, I mean,
and mix them into fertilizer.
I mean, human beings do decompose. We know that. how do you like expedite the process, I wonder? I mean, like, usually when you're talking about, I assume this isn't something you do at home, right?
No.
You don't just put them in the backyard compost pile and turn them every month, right?
God, no.
I mean, because that would be
Because
bizarre.
let me tell you something. That would be beyond that. That would be so bizarre. It would make OMC come back to re-record their song "How Bizarre," and they'd have a verse dedicated to it. Listen. So apparently, it works in the same manner. But it has to be a 100% sealed drum, and you're mixed with wood chips.
Do they
don't
put
ask me, I don't know.
Let me ask a question. Do they put you through the shredder as well?
Nope.
No, or no, you don't know?
They do not. They just put your body in there, and they rotate on an oscillating 20-foot track. So you slowly roll back and forth. Think like the bars, like the marble on the metal rails, right? So it moves back and forth. Stays. You're basically sautéed. This is probably not going to be the right term because, I'm sure temperature comes into play, and we have cooks and bakers and lions and tigers and bears on but 131 degrees.
You're saying it's a low and slow process.
It absolutely is.
Much like Colin and his smoking. It's low and slow.
Barbecue pit masters would have a field day with this. What type of wood are you going to use when you compost? You have to put them in a sealed plastic bag, but only a licensed mortician can handle that plastic bag because technically there are human remains in there. So now you have a dual major in being a mortician and agriculture, because apparently you're the one that has to spread this fertilizer once you're composted. And the beauty of it is it's subsidized by Starbucks because they put this in the fields where they grow the beans that make the unicorn frappes so special.
I thought maybe it was, it grew the trees where the monkeys eat the beans and then poop them back out, and it's a super special expensive coffee.
That truly would be the circle of life if you were a coffee bean.
That's reminds me a lot of what they do with bodies in New Orleans.
What? I didn't know that they put them through tree shredders in New Orleans. All I knew about is occasionally they float to the top.
No, okay.
What if this has anything to do with a mesh bag and boiling? I'm not going to be happy.
They don't crab boil these things, people, do they?
Now, what they do in New Orleans is they have these above ground crypt things, okay? And what they do is they stick bodies in.
Yeah.
And then they close it. And then, see, the thing is, most of the people in New Orleans are Catholic, okay? So at least at the time these cemeteries started, you could not burn bodies.
Right. Cremation is still very touchy amongst the Catholics. You can nail a person to a cross, but don't you dare burn them.
So because of that, they came up with these things. So you stick them in. It's like the drawers, something like these are, right? So you put them in there, and then they bake for a couple of years in the New Orleans sun. And so when they decompose enough, then you open the front again, and you take a broom thing, and you just shove everything in the back, and it kind of falls behind, and then you stick another body in. And you just keep doing that. That's how they do it in New Orleans.
Okay, this has never been. I have never heard the they just push them to the back and let the dust fall down, and then I haven't heard of this method before.
Yep.
That's almost like the human remains version of a compost pile, where you have the boards in front that you have to stack or remove depending on how much it's composted. Right?
Yeah.
Now, what Colin's not telling you is that.
The different
Right,
is they
because
don't
you
add
make-
the extra wood, so there's not the extra mass there. So there's just the body. Basically, it's just the bones. Everything else is kind of evaporates out. So all you have to be left is some bones and stuff. And that's what you shoved at the back.
I feel so alone. Going to end up a big old pile of them bones.
I don't know.
I don't know how to respond to this. Like, but the. Oh, okay. So the other thing that the licensed funeral director or person must hold an embalmer license has to be the one to legally declare, yes, this is the person that died, and declare that they are actually dead. So you don't have some Dexter type stuff happening here where they just put live kind of person in these giant drums and just rock them back and forth for years until they die. So when the process is complete, the family will be left with 4 55-gallon drums of usable compost. They can take it with them or donate a portion to the forest to help them grow new trees at the cemetery, or sell it to Starbucks for use in making the unicorn frappes once a year. That's exactly why. It's only one place. That's why the unicorn frappes only come out once a year, because they need the entire... Wait a minute.
Is there a spike in deaths right around that time?
Is there a connection to the McRib? Is this the reason why the McRib only comes around every once in a while? They got to wait until the secret sauce is created enough to nationally meet the demand.
Let's see here. What's really in a McRib?
Don't do that.
I don't think you really want to know.
You know, I've never I once had, my claim to fame was I've eaten every single item on the White Castle menu at least once. Years ago. I have not maintained that because they've added stuff and they've dropped stuff. But I've never had a McRib.
Oh.
And somewhere Racist Dave is having a heart attack right now because he's one of those guys that lives for the day that the McRib.
I used to make double McRibs back when I worked there, because one McRib patty on that bun is not enough. There's too much bun. But if you double it, and they work really well, because you know how they got like the corrugation on one side? So you can like put them, corrugation to corrugation, like offset them, and then they like interlock. So they don't go nowhere. They're like Legos.
No, I don't know, because I've never had a McRib.
Well, but you've seen a McRib.
Not up close. Only on a commercial, and we know that the food in the commercials never looks like the food you get at the store.
Of course not. But oh,
what was that?
I don't know.
I don't know. Something fell somewhere.
Something fell. You're not hearing any screaming going, I can't get up, right?
No,
it's just...
I heard some laughing, so
okay,
that's good.
All right. As long as it's not falling by and I can't get up, then we're good. We're in good shape. I don't know. Somebody might be over to the house. I'm not saying that your parents are that old, but All right. So that's so while we're on the topic of killing things, let's go ahead and head to the bar, and we can look into killing some brain cells with a mixed drink. What do you think about that, Mike?
Go ahead. I'm already drinking.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, all right. So what are you drinking tonight, Mike?
I'm drinking my adult peanut butter cup special, just because Listen, I've been dealing with 187 inches of snow outside today, and I just needed strong drink so that I can sleep tonight.
Colin, are you having anything?
Yeah, I'm drinking Sprite, but with the giant 2-liter size because it was $1. So why pay $1.50 for a little one when you can pay $1 for a big one?
Makes sense. Well,
That's what she said.
so much like Mike, I decided if I was going to go big.
Is that a Chick-fil-A tumbler that you got going there? What's that? Or is that a C for... Oh, no, C is for Shaggy, of course.
Yeah. So, we're going to do a
We're
Long
going to be
Island iced tea.
confused people listening to that.
So, yeah, we're doing a Long Island iced tea tonight.
Classic. Okay.
Yeah, very classic. So, start off with your shaker. Handful of ice. Measurements for this are actually pretty easy, but there are a lot of ingredients. So first thing, simple syrup. 1 shot of that. Next thing, lemon juice. You only need about 1/4 of a shot of that. I tried a half last night, way too much. Then it's on to the booze. We're doing gin, tequila, rum, vodka, and triple sec. A shot of each. So this one will put you on your butt. It's much like the rocket fuel that we did before.
Long Island iced tea is... That's one of those drinks like when you're growing up and you're like, oh, I'm going to go to the bar. You know, Long Island iced tea was one. Red Death was another shot. A Jolly Rancher, that was another shot. You know, that was one of those infamous drinks that you knew once I could go to the bar, I had to get that.
Yeah. And I am doing a little bit of a twist on it. I'm using vanilla vodka. So, just the
Freaking
recipe
communist.
I saw called for that.
Long Island iced
So-
tea has always been more of a sitcom drink, as far as I know.
Well, there's a lot of history behind it, actually. I could tell you it all, but that's too boring. It was
So
created
if
for
you
a
really want to
cocktail
impress
contest.
me, and you know everybody should aspire at some point in their life to impress me. That's my personal feeling. You can disagree. When I went to bartending school for 2 weeks, one of the things that they taught us how to do was, you know, from the speed rack, be able to take the 4 liquors and pour, basically holding them between your fingers. So if you want to impress me, you get yourself some of them pourer things and just grab all 4 bottles next time. And
Yeah. You mean like that?
yeah. So
Yeah, the only problem is
what I'm saying,
I don't have the caps. So they're just open.
they don't. That's fine. What I'm basically saying, and I'm not using liquor bottles because I don't keep bottles of liquor in my office. But what I'm saying is basically taking the 4 bottles and you're going to pour like that.
Yep. And then to finish this off, you just top it off with Coke, Diet Coke, whatever your preference is.
One of those tricks that they told me would make me a lot of tips if I ever got a job bartending. This giant series of lies until my check cashed.
And then it actually does look like tea when you're done. So. And if you do it right, it actually does taste like tea. So, there you go. Long Island iced tea. Just a lot of stuff goes into it.
Because of the vanilla, I'm thinking that this is some kind of like oolong, sobe, Asian tea that you should like top it off with a sake floater or some crap.
No.
Boy, am I tired.
This is actually a fairly, normal twist on it. So, some people will use lime in this. It just depends.
I have never heard. Yes, I remember like a splash of lime juice was one of the optional. That's like a regional thing, I think. But I've never heard of vanilla vodka being used in a Long Island iced tea. I am somewhat intrigued, though. Of all the flavored vodkas, I think vanilla is probably the one that I would most tolerate.
Yeah, it's really subtle. And that's why I did go with a absolute vanilla. It's a lot more tamer. See, I have this frost vanilla, but that's very artificially. So that's not nearly as good. This is good.
So first review of the night. First review of the night. Do not get frost vanilla vodka.
Well, if you're just gonna do like vanilla Coke, get that. But if you want a much more subdued flavor and a better quality of vodka, then you want the Absolute. The other thing we did last night was Absolute Lime and lemonade. That was good as well.
Okay. All these different flavored vodkas, but the government is going after flavored vapes. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, that's going to the bar tonight. You got adult peanut butter cups and Long Island iced tea. So there we go. Now back to the studio.
Oh, that's right. The music there is not allowed. So
that's right. Okay. Yargi Reformu Paketti. Hello, thank you very much. We have the COVID vaccine going rolled out very slowly here. We have 3 million doses. Oh, sorry.
I don't know.
Okay, so while you're gone, I went on the whole double McRib thing and found someone did something crazy in there. It's at the bottom of the sheet.
Okay, did they make it out of people?
No,
okay.
No, Australians one-upping you.
Oh, okay. Australians one-up me all the time.
Oh, yes, they did.
Triple McRib.
No, double with bacon.
It's still a double.
Rib patties with American cheese, bacon strips, and pickles. Well, they come with pickles on them.
Yeah, more bacon. Pickles.
Maybe not there. Maybe not in Australia.
No, the standard recipe is pickles and slivered onions. So. No, that's only.
Now I might. But see that. But the problem is that bacon.
The bacon.
That don't look like. That don't look like bacon I would trust from McDonald's.
That's Australian bacon. The only country that really has bacon the way we call bacon is us.
It's probably kangaroo bacon.
As long as it ain't raccoon bacon.
No.
And basically, what we call Canadian bacon should really just be called everybody else's bacon.
So,
Canadian bacon, I have a problem with Canadian bacon because, typically it's round, and there's only one part of a pig that's, that round. Well, two parts. The snout and,
Yeah.
The same reason I don't get the chicken rings at White Castle, because there's only one part of a chicken that's in a round shape, and I ain't eating no.
Don't worry, it's not on. So, sorry, my wife's making a drink and thought that the camera was being broadcasted.
Oh.
So she's
spy on
ducking. She's ducking down behind the bar to pick up stuff.
Can we spy on her and put her on TikTok?
No.
Oh.
No, that's not cool. So.
Let me tell. Look, I'm not on TikTok. I don't have the app. I don't want the app. But I logged on, or somebody sent me a link to a video the other day. So I was able to pull it up on my web browser, and I swear to God, the next thing I knew, this was at like 9 a.m. Next thing I knew, it was 11 o'clock, and I had just gone down the rabbit hole watching stupid-ass videos on TikTok. And most of them were just like people dancing. And
you were addicted to the silhouette challenge, weren't you?
No, I was addicted to... If you must know,
we must.
I'll send you the link to the one that really, because I sent this one to Kim as the example. Let me find it so it's easy enough for me to. No, we don't want to talk about China's new COVID test.
I'm curious. What all different challenges have there been on TikTok?
Too many. There's a stupid one now that popped up that apparently the idea is you call someone on FaceTime, and as soon as they pick up, you instead of saying hello, you say, "Listen, I'm really busy right now, so I got to call you back." But you're the one that called.
That's the stupidest one ever. Okay, so there is an Old Town Road TikTok challenge. There's a Beautiful People, Obsessed, a Respect the Drip, a Me versus.
So the one that I just sent you, this is a spin-off of another. There's a song out there called "Body" by Megan Thee Stallion.
Yep.
And there's a dance that goes to it. So somebody remixed that. So halfway through. So when you watch this, I don't know if we can. I guess we can play. I don't know. If we give credit to somebody on TikTok, can we?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We can kind of give credit. I know how we're going to get around this. I'm going to put this.
But yes, there's a ton of these.
So, I'm going to put this up. We're gonna give full credit. I'll put their user handle on TikTok. I put it in the comments on our video, and once it comes through, eventually, here we go. Okay. So this is who you got to follow, because we're gonna play their video as an example, and I think it's because it's probably the one of the best reactions to it. That crazy mom and wife, all one word on TikTok.
Okay, here we go. Okay.
See? So,
okay.
That's it. It's just a little snippet there. Now, the whole idea is they think they're doing that the Megan Thee Stallion challenge with the dance.
Mm-hmm.
And then they hear the whole "can't make a wife out of a hoe."
Mm-hmm.
I lost 2 hours of my life watching videos all set to that little song. That song has been stuck in my head for 3 weeks now.
Well, that's okay, because I got stuck on these style, kind of these here, the wipe down challenge.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and there was other ones out there. We won't play a whole lot of them because who knows, they could go really crazy really quick, but because some of them go a little bit racy. But,
so here we can I got one we could transition. Hold on, let me This is on Facebook. But this can transition to another topic
because
that is kind of socially relevant.
What's interesting is, so we see these things all the time that are popping, all these different social media platforms that pop up, right? And we may have talked about this before, but TikTok's up right now, and Twitter got a boost because of the stock thing, and Facebook's going, it's been depreciating for a while now, right? But and then Snapchat's hot, and this and that and the other, and pretty soon, some platform will be gone, like. So whenever somebody tells me that, oh, hold on, what just happened? Why did I just?
I don't know. We're frozen.
We're not anymore. All right.
Okay.
Whenever somebody tells me that they that they don't need a website, or that all they need is their social media channel, or that's the only thing they advertise on, or whatever, I always ask them how their MySpace page is doing, if that's really true.
Yeah, this is another trend.
Yeah. Where's Bernie? Bernie was everywhere, and we actually have a topic about Bernie. We're going to talk about Bernie because I posted a thing about Bernie. But all right, so let me see here.
I got my own goddamn mittens, okay?
Yeah. So, so you got the. All right, so you got the girl who was JoJo Siwa, or whatever the heck her name is.
She was on Dance Mom. She was one of the dancers. So,
and
once you play it, we can kind of talk about this.
So she is.
Well, play it first. Play it first, because there's. Okay. I know where you're going. There's a reason. So she did the wipe challenge.
Yep.
Wipe it down. Wipe it down. Wipe.
So, when that first came out, everybody said that was the sign of things to come. People thought that was either JoJo growing up, or some people did believe it was JoJo coming out.
Yep.
And that is what happened.
Well, if I remember right, it just basically said, I don't want to be defined. Just basically said, I want my options open.
Well,
right?
So she came out as gay.
Okay, because I thought it was bi, but.
Well, she had a boyfriend, but she broke up with the boyfriend, and now I guess she hasn't officially said that she's not one or the other, but she did come out and say she is not she's not picking pronouns because she doesn't know yet. She just knows that she's, and I give her credit, because people have been riding her about this, and she's lost a lot of fans, but she's taken it all in stride. One mom commented on one of her Instagram posts where she had the shirt that basically was affirming her coming out. It says "best gay cousin ever." Mm-hmm. So mom comments and says, "My daughter is so disappointed she will never watch your shows or buy any of your merchandise again." And JoJo responds, "Okay," with a smiley face.
Yeah.
How else are you supposed to respond?
Well, exactly. Well, it's either you don't respond at all, don't feed the trolls, or don't feed the trolls. That applies to politics too. There we go. That's it. That's all the politics I got tonight.
Well, I got one more thing.
Body crazy.
One more thing.
Body yada 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 yada.
I want to talk about Bernie.
We can talk about Bernie because
Bernie did the old man thing, and I think we talked about it a little bit on the last show about he showed up to the inauguration in a big puffy jacket and mittens, and we all thought that he was an adorable old man sitting on a chair. And suddenly everybody, like, photoshopped him everywhere, right?
Yep.
Who could find fault with an old man just trying to stay warm in the middle of winter outside? I mean, what could you possibly find wrong with that? Well,
Me personally, nothing.
somebody did.
Of course. Because America.
Yep. One public high school teacher in San Francisco named Ingrid, of course it's Ingrid, said Bernie Sanders' inauguration outfit epitomizes white privilege. She wrote an op-ed piece for the San Francisco Chronicle that appeared on Sunday and quickly went viral. Her objection was to the privilege, white privilege, male privilege, and class privilege, symbolized by Sanders' choice of a relatively casual Burton snowboarding jacket and repurposed wool mittens. She said, Sierra Ochi, which is her last name, addressed the topic with her students, who she said were also upset by what they saw as the implicit message being delivered by Sanders' choice of outerwear. What did they see? They saw a white man in a puffy jacket and huge mittens. Distance, not only his social distance, but in his demeanor and attitude. What did I see? What did I think my students should see? A wealthy, incredibly well-educated and privileged white man showing up for perhaps the most important ritual of the decade in a puffy jacket and huge mittens. I don't know many poor or working class or female or struggling to be taken seriously folks who would show up at the inauguration of our 46th president dressed like Bernie. Does she not know many, like, 80-year-olds? Because just about every one of them that I know would dress like that. Because they will take function over fashion any day of the week.
Yeah, because that's what that's the mistake that she's making there. As nothing. She's saying if a black guy had shown up looking like that, people would be making fun of him. Well, people are making fun of him anyway, so it's kind of missing the point. But the thing is, if it was a 80-year-old black guy coming in a puffy jacket of mittens, he would still look like an old guy in a puffy jacket and mittens.
She says, this is white supremacy. This is white privilege. It can be hard to pinpoint, but we know it when we see it.
She's been drinking too many Long Island iced teas.
I mean, really? Sanders monetized his viral fame to raise more than $1.8 million for various causes, from the licensing of T-shirts and other merchandise with his now iconic image. The beneficiaries include Meals on Wheels, Feeding Chittenden, the Vermont Parent-Child Center Network, the Chill Foundation, the Bi-State Primary Care Association, and senior centers. But that's white privilege.
The guy that took the picture apparently has only licensed it to Bernie. So all of these people that are on Etsy and other websites, that all these crafters that jumped on a bandwagon putting Bernie on stuff and selling it, this guy is going after people left and right.
I'm sure.
And I cannot say I blame him one bit.
Oh, and the Twitter.
Listen, if I took a famous photograph like that, let me tell you something, man. Not only would I be doing everything I could to monetize it, I would spend my days with a formal cease and desist letter, just surfing all of these websites, personally handing them out.
You know what's interesting? I actually came across a case of something relating to photographs and copyrights. We had gotten
was it the time that the monkey took the guy's phone and took selfies, and it was determined that the monkey owned the actual picture?
No, this was something that I ran into for work. We had used a photograph on a website, and we had gotten a cease and desist letter, And we'd gotten a cease and desist letter from using it from Getty Images. And so we did some research, and we found out that who took the photo. And we contacted the photographer because it was our understanding that it was included in a collection of images that this department that we were working with had licensed. So we contacted the photographer, and the photographer said, well, that photo was included with a bunch of photos that I licensed to all government entities without any restriction. It's actually in the public domain. So Getty should not be coming after you for copyrights because there aren't any copyrights.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so we sent our lawyers back after Getty to say, we will not be abiding by your cease and desist. And we have forwarded your letter to the original, creator, and her lawyers will be contacting you regarding your misappropriation of their work.
Wow.
And
Wow.
Don't mess with the government. They have lawyers. We have lawyers that have been elected to be lawyers.
And from what I understand from talking to the artist, she is not the only one that this happened to. It happens on a regular basis. Getty and other photo places like that will send cease and desist letters and fines to people for images that are in the public domain, but that are also included in their collections. But they don't own the rights to those photos. So,
Interesting.
yeah, it was a very interesting case, and I was really glad that we weren't found in dereliction, because we very easily could have been. Users are very bad about getting copyrights, but in that case, we actually were on the up and up. So, yeah, but feedback on this article was ridiculous regarding the lady who called Bernie a white privilege. Glenn Greenwald replied, "What a stupid and appalling article, all based on how Bernie dressed. As stupid and gross as it is, it represents a large and growing sector of left liberal thought." Other text said, "What fresh hell is this take? I don't even understand. The dude wore mittens and a big coat because it was cold, and then he turned around and raised a ton of money for charity."
These are the same people that are everybody's making a big deal about the fact that Kamala Harris, or Kamala, whatever, however I'm just going to call it Sybil. Everybody's making a big deal about how Sybil just wears Converse, Chuck Taylors,
No.
all the time. Like, oh, that's the new fashion thing. No, that's not the new fashion thing. That's been a fashion thing. She is not a trendsetter. Let's be fair, okay? Converse, Chuck Taylors have been hipster shoes for ages. My wife and I wore custom Chuck Taylors at our wedding.
Yeah.
Oh, you did too. So did McKenna.
Yeah, so there you go. When did McKenna get married? What year?
I don't remember.
It's your sister. You should know when she got married.
Yeah, you should.
I just
Oh,
at
Blair,
the wedding.
help me
Doesn't mean I can't remember my own birthday half the time. How old am I? I don't know.
When did Ken get married? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because nothing good could come from that answer. Go ahead. So, no, but Sybil did not make Converse fashionable.
Oh.
People like us did. Like Kenna and my wife and me. That's right, I said me.
Let's see here. So, history of celebrities wearing the Converse. That's what I want to know. Miley Cyrus wore them. Kid Cudi. I don't know who the hell that is. Nick Jonas, Kristen Stewart, Asher Roth, Justin Bieber, Emma Watson, Hayden Panettiere, Chris Pine, Tyga, Daniel Radcliffe, the All-American Rejects.
Wait. Hold on.
Michael J. Fox wore him in Back to the Future, for Christ's sakes.
2012. It was Artie Patrick's Day. What is that?
I don't know what Artie
It
Patrick.
was
Artie?
St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day. When is St. Patrick's Day? March?
Yeah.
Damn, she did it first. Okay.
I mean, Converse came out in 1908. Converse Rubber Shoe Company was founded in February of 1908. I think they've been around a little while, long before Kamala Harris. They came out first in 1917.
March 12th. Okay, so she's got it. She's got me by 2.5 months. All right.
So
The best part was that my wife went all like I was going to get my groomsmen custom Nikes, like Air Force Ones, to wear, and at first she was fighting me on it, but she tried on like 92 pairs of shoes, and none of them were comfortable. And when she found out she could get custom Chucks in a fabric that pretty much matched her dress, then it was game on. So my groomsmen got custom Chucks.
Okay, you one-upped us on that. She just did, I think she just customized the Chucks herself. She didn't buy customized Chucks, if I remember correctly. No, it was 2012. I was mostly just trying to figure out how to fit into the vest that I was supposed to wear.
there is actually
listen.
there's actually a section on Converse's website called wedding shoes.
Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome, people.
You know. Yeah. Honestly, I never had a pair of Converse. I had like a knockoff pair, you know, because we was Pole.
So
But
I had a pair of Vans, which were basically like slip-on Converse.
they were the skater version of Converse.
Similar style.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I had a pair that was another brand called Life's a Beach that was kind of a competitor to Vans.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got my Converse. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think Converse are that comfortable. You got to throw some Dr. Scholl's in there. You know.
Well, yeah.
I was gelling like a felon at my wedding. I mean, but they're not really cheap anymore. Once they became like hipster style, no, they keep them in the store next to Birkenstocks. Like they're
You almost got to get a lock and key. Yeah. I tell you, because when I was a kid, it was all about the Payless. We would hit Payless up, and you know, because it was the buy one get one half price. So me and my sister would have to get shoes at the same time, and you know, you better make that pair of shoes last the whole school year. And it was just, you know, it was horrible. LA Lights. I got those.
L.A. Lights. Okay, I have Wildcats from Tom McCann, I think, or Stride. I don't know. So let's just move on because we got a list to talk about.
We do have Mike.
PTR Radio. We love lists.
We do. Now, Mike, I think we should talk about office accessories because
office accessories. Yes, because I'm confused as hell.
Because a lot of people working from home right now. And I'll tell you what, one of the first things I had to do when we started working from home, almost a year ago now, is make my office more comfortable. All right?
Yes.
Because if you're going to be in your office, hopefully you're well enough off where you have a dedicated workspace. All right? There are people still working at their kitchen tables. And I don't know what's wrong with them.
So
right.
It's not even a fact of well enough off. It's the fact that you have the space that you can allocate to be in office. I work with someone who, when the work from home order was put in place, the only space that he could allocate to himself was the walk-in closet. And when they said, we're going to continue to do this for the near future, he said, I may have to move, because I
Yep.
can't keep working in a closet.
Well, I hope you come out of the closet and let all of you know it. Was there a lot of closet jokes? Because I would have had a lot of closet jokes.
Yeah, you know, if I knew him a little better, I probably would have. But you know, if it was the guy that I've worked with for 20 years, I probably would have made that joke. But you know, like when we bought this house,
Yeah.
one of the things that sold me was this room, which even though the utilities are right there, but this is a dedicated office for me.
I have 3 people that work for me. 2 of them have moved during the pandemic so that they get into bigger houses. All right. One, the interest rate was low, and they had already actually been looking for homes, but it really necessitated I need a dedicated space to be able to work, because they both had families, and they just needed a place to be able to work. And now they're both very happy that they moved. So, and I'm so happy that I have my dedicated office, because especially when the grandkids are here, it is super loud. So it's so nice to be able to close the basement door, and if I need to, I can close my office door, and then the only thing I hear is, the ceiling, basically, them throwing each other around. But I'm as isolated as I possibly can be, and if I need some more, I put my headphones on. But just having an office. But like I said, I had to make it as nice as could be. So like I put a shelf up over here. You can't see. Put a couple shelves so that I could hold stuff that I need to be able to get to. I actually put up the desk that I'd been waiting a year to put up. I've kind of cleaned and organized stuff so that I know where things are at. I went to a lot of work. And honestly, one of the things that I needed to get, and I'd been holding off forever, was a chair mat, because I had just had my rolling chair on my carpet. And when you're only in the chair for an hour, a day, not a big deal. You just roll it on the carpet. You're not going to wear out the carpet or anything. It's going to be easy enough. But now that I'm in my chair 8, 9, 10 hours a day, sometimes, well, I was wearing holes in the carpet, or wearing tracks in it. I needed something that would handle moving my chair around. So I went over to Amazon, and I went looking for chair mats. Now, I didn't find the one that Mike found, which seems to have 2,500 reviews. And Mike, you had some questions, and I got to say, I'm right there with you.
So this came up on Slick Deals. And
Yes.
okay, so like you, I have a laminate floor in my office that the original wheels on my chair, granted, it's a cheap laminate floor from the Lumber Liquidators clearance area. So because I have the utilities right there, and this basement has flooded twice. So I can't put carpet down, and I'm not investing a whole lot of money into the floor.
Yeah.
Right? So, unfortunately, the wheels on my chair were actually wearing the polyurethane layer off. So I just got a cheap-ass area rug off of Amazon, a $20 area rug. It serves its purpose. So then an item pops up on Slick Deals. Now, I previously had carpet in this office when we bought the house, and I had a chair mat. The problem was I was sitting in the one position for so long that the wheels would sink into the chair mat, thereby defeating the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, yes, a stiffer material or a harder material would make sense. However, Slick Deals pops up on Amazon. It is a tempered glass chair mat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, to me, I can see there are merits. However, to me, this is like a Datsun.
Not exactly my
It's
glass.
great
Not
until-
exactly my first choice for holding me up. especially considering standard chair has 5 wheels, and all of your weight is concentrated on those 5 little points of contact. You know? And Mike, you weigh less than I do, but I just don't think I want that, because I could see me setting down and just crack everywhere.
So, first thing that pops into my head is you have got to have a perfectly flat floor. Yes, it can be carpet underneath, but if your floor is not perfectly flat, this no me gusta.
Yeah. Oh, and clean. Imagine if you had a rock underneath that. Just a little pebble.
Yeah, it's supposed to be able to hold half a ton, 1,000 pounds.
Ugh.
But it's like, all it's going to take is one little piece of sand in the wrong spot.
Yeah, because, I can lean against the window on my car all day long, as long as I'm spreading the weight out. But if I put all that weight in one little spot, then it's not going to hold the same way, especially if it's all of a sudden, like if I flop in my chair, which I have been known to do every once in a while, that's not going to work.
Yeah. So
if I come in here after a couple of Long Island iced teas and just then it's not going to do what I need it to do.
Yeah.
I can understand maybe Lexan. They make floors at you go to the Sears Tower. It's not the Sears Tower anymore, but you go the Space Needle. They have the clear floors that you can walk out and look out and you're looking down on the city. Those are Lexan. It's granted, it's probably 3 inches thick.
Yeah, bulletproof glass.
Where's the transparent aluminum floor mat?
Yeah, come on, Scotty.
Well, what? Every time they have that crack up at the Willis Tower, every time it cracks, they said, "Oh, that's the sacrificial layer." Well, what they're talking about is it's probably one of these tempered glass chair mat kind of. It's almost exactly this material is that first layer that people are standing on. And that's what's cracking.
Oh my God! I just thought of a great practical joke that they should do at the Sears Tower. Have you guys ever seen? Have you guys ever seen that video of that elevator that's got LCD panels on the floor? They should install those at the bump out at the Sears Tower.
Yeah.
And just have the floor fall away.
You want people to die of a heart attack?
I just think that would be hilarious. And put a camera on it and just live stream it nonstop.
So this tempered glass chair mat comes in 3 sizes: 36-inch, 50-inch, and 60-inch.
So therefore, it really only comes in two usable sizes: 50-inch and 36 and 60-inch. Because who the hell needs a 3x3 chair mat? That's literally only big enough for the wheels.
I'm just saying the only reason I would be tempted to buy the 60-inch tempered glass chair mat is just to see the poor guy who has to deliver it.
Well, here's the thing.
Oh, God.
So when I ordered my mat, it said specifically ships flat. All right? No rolling. So what did I get? I got a tube. All right? So I want to see the dumbass that tries to fit this in a tube, and suddenly you get what's like one of those rain tubes instead of a chair mat that you can just hear chinking.
Let me tell you. Yeah, it's not just that. I want to see the size of the box that this comes in, because if you order a 60-inch chair mat, right? Amazon. It's either going to be it's going to ship in the manufacturer's box with no packaging, or it's going to come in a box the size of a football field with about 7,000 yards of brown craft paper as padding.
Sorry, your chair mat is freight delivery only, so you need a loading dock.
What did I order the other day? I know what I ordered.
Oh, God.
I ordered a 16-inch pizza screen. Anybody know what this is?
Is it a pizza you can watch a TV on?
It's basically...
Oh, I remember, yeah. You said you had problems getting your crust, hot.
Crispy, yeah. So it was $3. And basically all it is it's a piece of like wire mesh, crisscrossed with, the edges are finished with like a metal aluminum channel.
Yep.
But it's flat. This came in a box that, was probably about the size of that box right there.
Yep. With
a yard and a half or more of craft paper crumpled up to keep it from sliding around because, an aluminum tray is fragile.
Yep. Well, that's okay. We talked before about the COVID buying sprees, right? So I have bought a few things lately that I probably didn't need, but that I found deals for, so why the heck not? So here is something that I bought that I don't know why I needed it. I bought a pirate telescope for the kids' playhouse in the backyard. Because it was only $6.
I'm looking at I just saw squirrel products, and I saw it was a telescope, and I thought it was something you mounted on the fence by the picnic table so the squirrels could watch other squirrels across the yard.
No, it's a telescope for the kids. It doesn't actually have any telescopic properties whatsoever. It's just, a clear thing. But yeah, because they have ripped the existing one off of the playhouse and thrown it in the yard. So I thought, well, I need to buy them another one. And then the other
Why wouldn't you just get them a chainsaw?
I can't find a good one, a lightweight one. And then the other thing that I bought that I'm actually waiting on, and I'm curious to see if this works as well as advertised, is this. This is the Shark Ultra Cyclone Pet Pro Plus cordless vacuum. So this is supposed to be one of the best pet hair removers from, like, furniture that they make. So I will see how well this works.
You're going to have to give me a review on that, because...
Yeah.
I could have time for that.
I love my Shark vacuums, which is weird, because, like, I used to watch that infomercial for the Shark vacuum cleaner all the time and think, yeah, right, okay.
Get a Shark.
But then I actually went to a place that had one, and I asked the guy, I'm like, does that thing actually work? And he goes, you know what? I was really skeptical, but the damn thing really does work. Because he had, short pile carpet, and he just needed something to clean up his business at the end of the night. And plugs in, no batteries, but it's the same size as like the Dyson cordless. Really easy to move around, lots of attachments. He goes, I love this thing. It actually works better than stand-up vacuum cleaners did. So I bought one, loved it, bought another one so that we could just basically have one on each floor.
Oh, this is like the stick vacuum.
Yeah, the stick vacuum. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. And I love that thing. It actually does better than my Dyson. And so I saw this was by Shark.
Ooh, Mama Blair, the whole Blair clan is going to start fighting you.
Yeah. Sorry.
I seem to remember Colin being you were a Dyson guy, right?
Oh yeah, we lots of Dyson.
I seem to. Yeah,
that's the best.
But, well, I'll tell you what. I will never complain about Shark service. I had a problem where a piece broke off of the Shark vacuum, and it was like the little retention clip that used to keep the dust cap closed, because you press the button and then it opens and empties. Well, my wife dropped it, and it broke. And so I was just looking for that replacement part, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I emailed the company and said, hey, listen, I just need this part. I'll replace it. I'll fix it. And they said, well, we don't we don't sell that part. They shipped me a brand new vacuum cleaner. The whole damn thing. No charge.
Well, damn.
So yeah.
I have to say I've only had one. I mean, that's awesome customer service, and we have a Shark vacuum. We have the Shark Lift Away Navigator XL doohickey Bonanza thing. And God, it performs well. I mean, I'm not gonna. Before that, I had the Shark knockoff of the Dyson that had, and Dyson had like 8 cyclones. This one had 32, right? And I'd have to take it out once every 6 months, and like there's one little cap, and I'd have to spray it with my compressor to clear out the dust cyclones, whatever. Mm-hmm. Now that is great customer service. The only time I've had anything similar to that was we have one of those margarita makers. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the Margaritaville ones where you put the ice up top, you put all your liquor in the blender, it shaves the ice, and then it automatically blends everything. Side note, if you put coffee in there with liqueur, you make coffee slushies at the end of the night, people will drink them and go home. Now, the top part...
We're not advocating drinking and driving.
Well, no. These are for the people that are not driving.
Yes.
You know, that the designated driver is just like, okay, can we get going here, please? That helps them want to go because the caffeine and the cold makes them want to poop, and they don't want to poop at your house, so they're going to want to go home. Yeah. So the ice hopper cracked.
Ooh.
And I wrote them, and I said, I need a new one. Can you give me the part number or whatever? No, they sent me one.
Yeah.
No charge, no questions asked. Like, what?
Yeah.
Of course, now, you know, I miss the days where we had people over and we'd actually use the thing.
Yeah. I know. It is a pain. You know, they're advertising this movie now about, you know, like COVID-23. And I'm like, no. And I think we talked about it before. No, too soon.
Yeah, we talked about COVID-23. All right, so let's somehow we went totally random because we were going to go through our list.
Yeah. So everybody knows we love to talk TV and movies. Okay, that is one of our bread and butter topics. All right, at least once during the show we talk about television and movies. And GameSpot, all right, came up with
not GameStop,
GameSpot, all right, came up with a list of the 14 best TV, movie, and video game presidents, and this just begs our attention. I mean, it's just anytime somebody says these are the best in TV and movie, we're in. Now, video game, maybe we don't know so much. Colin probably, out of all three of us, knows the most. All right? Unless it's a Mario Kart president, and then maybe I know them. All right? If there's a president in Mario World, I might have a chance. All right? But last time I checked, that was, you know, a monarchy. Because they have a princess. But I don't know if there's actually... is there a king and queen in Mario? I'm not sure. They have a princess, but I don't know about anything else.
There's a bad guy who's a King Toad, but I don't know of any good kings and queens.
There's a bad King Toad?
Yeah, wasn't that Dennis Hopper in the movie?
No, he was Bowser.
Yeah.
Oh.
I guess it's King Bowser, come to think of it. So yeah, there's two bad kings.
Okay. Well, how can you have a bad king, but then a princess Toad? If you have a princess...
of a different kingdom.
Okay. But we never see her folks. You can't be a princess and be an orphan, right?
Sure you can.
This requires more... I mean, in a Hallmark movie you can. We know that, but not in...
Okay, so if it's a kingdom, then yes, it would be a queen, but there is such a thing as a princedom, where the highest rank is actually prince, not king. So in that case, it would be a princessdom.
Princeton is a college. We know that already. It's not a country. That's okay. I had to explain to my wife the other day. My wife the other day, or actually, yeah, yesterday, we were driving somewhere and we were listening to the radio and they were talking about in the radio show we were listening to. Sean Connery had just died, and they were talking about the movie The Rock, and The Rock was directed by
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. All right, and I guess Michael Bay tried to give Sean Connery some acting direction at one point during The Rock, and Sean Connery said, "Why don't you just go blow up a bridge somewhere?" All right, and my wife said, "I don't really get it." And I'm like, well, Michael Bay is famous for explosions and lots of action. That's just his movies. And she looked at me again and she goes, okay. I said, well, he's never directed a Hallmark movie, so that's probably why you don't know him. And she goes, that was really mean. I looked at her and I said, I'm sorry. I know that was really mean. She goes, no, you're probably right. So, it was just... I just thought about that though. And so next time, guys, if you're in the car and you or anywhere and you reference an actor or an actress and your wife goes, well, I don't know who that person is, just go, well, they weren't in any Hallmark movies yet, so that's probably why you don't know them. And just wait for the reaction.
You might as well just wait for them to finish talking and ask them, are you done? You're basically giving us a guide to suicide here. Can we talk about the president's list?
Yeah, just say stop being hysterical.
I don't want to go down.
Just say stop being hysterical.
Okay.
All right,
so we got to start at the bottom.
I said princedom. It's principality.
Principality.
Okay.
It's duchy, principality, kingdom, empire.
Oh, you passed the duchy to the right hand side.
Pass the duchy on the left hand side.
Yeah, left hand side. Yeah, we know that. So who's on the right if they're on the left hand side? Is the
like say east, say west, say north and south.
Wait.
Give me lots of bougie because they make me scream and shout. I say pass the duchy on the left hand side.
Wait a second. I got this. If the duchy's on the left hand side, then the dukey's on the right hand side.
No, you don't want to be sitting next to Dookie. No, if you pass the duchy on the left hand side, Doogie.
Oh, MD. Okay, so free healthcare is on the right hand side. Got it.
No.
All right.
No. Neil Patrick Harris on his unicorn
and
waiting
PH.
for the mothership with Obama is next to you. And he passes it after doing cocaine off a hooker's butt in the back of a Toyota Corolla going 70 miles an hour.
Holding a Tony Award. Got it.
Yes. Okay. So,
all right. On to the president's list.
Start at the bottom.
So we want to start at 14.
14, because we're going to work our way up.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So number 14 is actually one that I don't know. So that's great. Because it's from a video game.
President Howard T. Ackerman from Command and Conquer Red Alert 3. This was one of the first video games that I remember that had like live action filmed cutscenes.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about this, but the president was played by J.K. Simmons. So thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
Even though no one knew who J.K. Simmons was at the time.
And that's the like farmer's insurance guy, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I know him from.
J. Jonah Jameson from the Maguire.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, but he's more well known from the insurance commercials.
Well,
yes,
now.
and Whiplash.
Yes.
In popular culture, Whiplash is his big claim to fame.
Okay.
So,
number 13. President Selena Meyer from Veep, played by Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
So I never watched this show, but I did not know that she actually became president.
I never watched it either.
So yeah, during the run of the show, she her president resigned, so she became president. Then she lost the election to keep being president, and then I guess at the end of the show, she wins it again. It's a pretty funny show. I have not watched the entire series, but it's funny.
Okay. Number 12. President Charlene Charlie Rowan from the Purge election year movie, played by Elizabeth Mitchell.
Saw it.
I've not watched any of these movies.
No, me neither.
And I have to say she did a good job. She was the president that was trying to get rid of the Purge.
Okay.
And somehow I thought she won, and there's going to be a sequel, so I don't know.
Now
they're in prequels. They have not done a sequel yet, as far as I know. Yeah. But they have been doing prequels.
Yeah, the sequel. There was rumored to be a sequel to Election Year, but I don't see how because I thought she won the election, and the whole idea was she was going to get rid of the Purge. So I don't know.
Right.
Now, number 11, I have watched this movie, and I thought it was great. President Mays Gilliam, head of state, played by Chris Rock. Everybody loves a big woman. That was the best part of the whole movie, in my mind. They take a local alderman and decide to run him for president. It was a great movie. And in today's world, I could see it happening. So. All right, number 10. Again, not a show that I watch, so Colin, I think you're probably the most likely to watch it.
She's definitely the best president that's on Battlestar Galactica.
President Laura Roslin, Mary McDonnell. So you guys really so Mike, you really like her?
I love this show. I absolutely love the re-imaging of Battlestar Galactica.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm not remembering incorrectly, right? She later, during the run of that, there was a different president who won at some point.
Yes, and he was played by Apollo from the Richard Hatch from the original series.
Right. Yes. So as I said, she definitely was the best president on that show.
Yes.
Number 9, Multipass. President Lindbergh from The Fifth Element, played by Tom Lister Jr. I think this is kind of like a throw-in. I don't see where he was a great president in the movie.
Yeah, definitely not better than Battlestar Galactica.
No.
See, at this point, we can start saying, okay, are these too high in the list? Yeah.
Yeah.
So far, it's like, I'm okay with where people are on the list.
And, I mean, he didn't have a big part at all. I mean, it was just like a clip here, a clip there, that's it. There wasn't much of him in the movie. Now, number 8, one of my all-time favorite rom-coms. All right? A movie so good, I've probably bought it 5 times on different media. President Andrew Shepard from The American President, played by Michael Douglas. All right.
This is basically if Hallmark made a president movie.
Yeah, it is. I won't lie. It is. It is.
And you know what? I'll put a pin on this one to say that 8 and 10 are staying together. I think we're going to say they should go higher on a list, but in that same order.
You know, if you do nothing else and you haven't seen The American President, watch the YouTube clip of his speech at the end. If that won't get you motivated, I don't know what will. And I'll tell you what, my brother-in-law hates that speech because at the end he talks about taking away people's guns. But you have to put that piece aside, right? And just concentrate on the rest of the speech. President number 7, President Alan Trumbull from Angel Has Fallen.
The only
Played
reason
by
this is
Morgan
on the
Freeman.
list is because Morgan Freeman. That's it.
Yeah, but Morgan Freeman has played the president in more than one movie.
Has he?
Deep Impact.
Yes, Deep Impact. The problem is on this thing, in this Angel Has Fallen, where he's playing the president, he spends most of it in a coma. So how could he be one of the greatest presidents? Sure, throw Deep Impact in there, and you have something to stand on.
Oh, I think I noticed a giant omission. I did, and we'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. All right. Number 6, right in line with that, President Benjamin Asher, who actually will be played by Aaron Eckhart from Olympus Has Fallen and London Has Fallen.
I think the only reason these two are on the list is because whoever created this list likes those movies.
I thought he did a pretty good job as president, though. Honestly.
Yeah, it's fine.
It wasn't his worst role ever.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't I Frankenstein.
But, Michael Douglas and Mary McDowell should be above them.
Agreed.
Yeah. So
this one, I think, should be rated higher as well.
Next one is President Dwayne Elizondo Mountain Dew Herbert Camacho, played by Terry Crews. The movie is Idiocracy. I agree. I think it should be higher.
He's a terrible president,
right there.
But that's not the rating we're giving these people.
He's a great president for that movie.
Yes, he's a great president for that movie. And that's all that matters on this list.
Number 4, President David Palmer from the show 24, played by Dennis Haysbert. I never watched the show.
Gotta go down. You want to know why? Because he never had Joe Boo.
What?
Yeah, Joe Boo. If he had the balls to have Joe Boo somewhere in the Oval Office during that whole run, I would have given him props. Nope. Couldn't sneak that in there somehow. Nope.
I will say that I am okay with him being relatively high on the list, just because every time I see him on the Allstate commercials, I still look at him and I say, "Hey, it's the president." It's just he has seemed, the actor has never been able to get away in my mind of being a president of the United States, and has nothing to do with Obama. It's before Obama.
But see, I can't get away from him being Pedro Serrano from Major League. So that's why I said you gotta have Joe Boo.
I know what you're talking about, but I think for whatever reason, I think I saw 24 before I saw Major League for the first time. So
that's fair.
To me, he's always been that character from 24.
All right. Next up.
Number
3.
This one.
There's no question that he belongs on the list.
In fact, I would say he is exactly where he should be on the list.
See, I would say he should be higher. President Thomas J. Whitmore, Independence Day, played by Bill Pullman.
I would it's a tough call. Maybe one higher, but
yeah.
Maybe tied for second. How about I put it that way?
Yeah. Number 2, another show I haven't watched, The West Wing, President Josiah Jed Bartlett, played by Martin Sheen.
But you have not watched The West Wing?
No.
You have not watched The American President, the TV show?
No.
No, I never watched The West Wing.
He's the chief of staff. He's not the president. He's the chief of staff. Sorry.
I never watched The West Wing either, but I do. The only reason I'm agreeing that he should be that high is there is one clip I have watched of him on YouTube where he basically rips a religious zealot apart by quoting Bible verses at them and then ends it with, "I don't know where you come from, but in something like, in this house, we stand for the president." So at that point, I was like, you know what? He cool. Never watched the show,
Here's
but he
the-
cool.
Yeah.
What I did was not hyperbole, okay? The West Wing really is the American President, the TV show. Both were written by Aaron Sorkin. After The American President, Aaron Sorkin decided to turn it into a TV show, and that TV show is The West Wing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get it.
So, yeah.
I get it. All right.
One of my favorite TV shows of all time.
And number one, according to their list, President James Marshall, Air Force One, played by Harrison Ford. I just watched this the other night. Get off my plane.
So the best part about this movie, they pulled a Scream where all of the advertisements showed Steven Seagal, and like 5 minutes into the movie, he's gone. Oh,
Yeah.
no, I'm sorry. That's the wrong movie. That's Executive Decision with Kurt Russell.
Nah.
My bad. Sorry.
All right. Now here
So who
are
was the omission?
wasn't it the brother from wasn't it the brother from the Die Hard movie? The Hans's brother from the Die Hard movie?
Wasn't President?
No. I'm sorry. He was the bad guy in Air Force One. Sorry, what were you asking?
Gary Oldman was the. You said there was an omission from this list.
Oh,
the president
okay,
that
yes.
should have been on this list.
Actually, I found 5 omissions from this list. 5.
Okay.
All right.
Roll with me. Let's go.
Here's the first one. Probably a little bit unknown, but I like it. All right. Samuel L. Jackson in the movie The Big Game. Samuel L. Jackson plays the president who is helped out by a young teenager camping in the woods when Air Force One is shot down near his campsite. It's actually a great movie. If you haven't seen it.
Don't care. No. Samuel L. Jackson can never be president because the president can't drop that many MFers ever.
Oh no, it was good. It was a great movie. All right, number 2. All right, Jamie Foxx, White House Down. His co-star Channing Tatum in that movie.
Oh, sorry, is that that one that was the same year as?
It's the same year as Olympus Has Fallen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's the one that got
Well, that was the-
overshadowed by
that-
the.
Yeah, that was the Tombstone Wyatt Earp of that year. Yeah, I don't know.
Jamie Foxx did a good job in that movie. All right. Now, are we going to count people who played past presidents?
I mean, people playing actual presidents? No, because
Yes.
then you have.
No. People
No.
who are playing presidents who are
No.
playing past presidents. Mike might not know the movie that I'm referencing here.
If you're going to bring up James Gardner
And Jack Lemmon in the
Jack
movie
Lemmon from
My Fellow Americans.
I might give you James Garner just because I like his version of the lyrics to Hail to the Chief.
It's a great, great movie if you want a comedy about presidents.
Yeah.
Here's another
I
one.
don't-
Now I have 2 more.
Yeah.
I have 2 more.
Okay, go ahead.
One of which Mike will not agree with whatsoever. Barry Bostwick in FDR American Badass.
Goddamn right I'm not going to agree with it.
Should have gotten
No,
at least an honorable mention. And then Kevin.
I will give you the credit that he played a president. Okay.
Kevin Kline. Do you know what movie?
Dave.
Yes. Why wasn't he mentioned? The whole movie was about him being president, him taking over and being president.
Oh, because he wasn't actually the president.
But he did play
He was
the
an
dead
imposter.
president too.
Yeah, he was. You know what? That of your list, Shaggy, that one I agree with. That should be on the list.
That was a great portrayal. He had to play a guy pretending to be the president.
Look, I love the movie. I just feel that might be disqualified on a technicality.
You know, so where were all those? I mean, that's 5 more movies. At the very least, it's 4 more movies. All right.
So here's one more TV show one, which is a more recent TV show, which makes it more likely it should have been on the list.
If you say Kiefer Sutherland.
Yes, Tom Kirkman on Designated Survivor. And I think that's a very good president. I think the show was a dumpster fire.
Oh,
Well,
wait a second.
listen,
Hold on. There's another one.
As much as I love the show, here's my issue. They took President Rosalind's position and turned it into a network show. I love Designated Survivor, but I realized that no, this is a remake of Battlestar Galactica on Earth, basically.
Yeah.
So
The show
as
just
much
didn't
as
go
I
anywhere.
love that show,
Oh, wait a second. Why didn't Timothy Bottoms make it the list?
who the hell is that?
That was a guy who played George W. Bush in the TV show That's My Bush.
No, we can't be listing actual presidents because then it would be like number one. What's his name as Lincoln in the movie Lincoln?
No, I agree with that. Otherwise we go into Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Well, but that wasn't a regularly occurring show.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Hey, look, I can do a Trump impression too. This is how I do duck face on Instagram. Just give me a wig. Suddenly I'll be Trump.
Oh.
Hate that fucking guy. Anyway, not Trump. I hate Baldwin.
To be
Although
fair,
I
you don't
hate
love
too,
Trump
but
either.
anyway.
That's beside the point.
No, exactly. I don't love any politicians. They can all just kiss my ass. Damn it, you made me talk politics again. Listen, I think it's time.
Yes, it is.
We need to discuss movies here. Does anything come in here? So, Mama Blair, agreed. Kevin Kline and Dave is my favorite. Yeah.
Certainly one of the funniest adaptations of a presidential role.
I will agree with that, yeah. Although I also have, if we're talking former presidents as well, I'm going to have to throw Gene Hackman in there. Now, I forget the name of the movie, but he starred alongside Ray Romano. He was a former president, moved to a small town, and he wanted to run for mayor, and he wound up running against Ray.
Absolute Power? No. Wait. Gene Hackman, Ray Romano.
For next time, we should find a list.
Welcome to Mooseport.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
So, yeah, we should find a list of worst presidents to go through for next time. Although, I will give you the criteria. If it doesn't have Jack Nicholson on it, it's not a good list.
Well, the problem is we get...
What?
Oh, okay.
Is Welcome to Mooseport available on any of our outlets? Because it only got like a 13% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, I
haven't
know.
seen it.
I think I know. I think Plex has it.
Okay, let's go on the.
All right.
On to our...
Okay. So tonight we had the honor of. Well, let me first start off by saying, if you're new to the show, every show we take on 2 movies that were suggested to us by Amazon Prime, YouTube, Netflix, etc., based upon our historical watching. The idea was we'll take 2 B movies and tell you whether it's worth your time to watch them or whether you should just skip right by them. The idea being that maybe we'll find those streaming diamonds in the rough. Okay, maybe we'll unearth that bit of gold in the river of all the free streaming options that are out there. Maybe we'll find that one polished turd amongst the sea of raw sewage. All right, possibly we'll find that one. Likelihood is we won't, but we might, and that's what we're here for. So tonight we have two such contenders in the octagon of evaluation. All right, we have It's God, starring Tommy Chong, and Erase, starring Aaron Eckhart, who we just talked about. By the way, if you can't find Erase, look for the movie The Expatriate. It's also known by that name. And you don't have much time to look for Erase because it goes off of Netflix on the 4th. So, if you want to get in line with watching our movies, you need to hurry up and watch it. So, with that said, those are the two that we're going to be reviewing tonight. Then after we do our reviews, we'll pick two for the next show. So, Mike, which one do we want to look at first?
We're going to go in alphabetical order. We're going to do Erased first.
Okay. Erased will be first. All right, Colin, right, are you ready to do Erased?
Sure.
All right. Go ahead.
So Erased, I will say the original title was The Expatriate. I think that's a much better title. Erased is one of those generic titles that the U.S. distributor came up with for a movie that everyone looks at and goes, why? Because there's so many movies. I mean, everyone's just going to think it's, Eraser, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie from several years ago. It's a terrible title. But it's not a terrible movie. It's just not a very good one. So this is taking every semi-well-known action spy movie of movie history and taking little pieces of them all, mashing them all together, and making a movie. So you have the beginning of 7 Days with Condor, I think that's right, where someone who's working for an organization leaves for the day and comes back and finds their place of business is gone. In Condor, they're just dead. In this case, he comes back and where he was working is emptied out, no longer exists. And everybody else he was working with is dead. The reason he wasn't there, because this brings in the other trope of man saddled with a child who is annoying and makes stupid decisions at every possible time they can. This is a movie trope that I hate. I don't know why they keep doing it. Why is it that bad movie writers believe that putting kids that are stupid as a plot device is something that audiences like? This is the normal stuff. People are shooting, but child refuses to move because they don't understand why the universe is so bad and people are shooting people. And maybe if they just stand there and be disbelieving at it, that it will just go away. I don't know. And then everybody's favorite, I'm going to get mad and run away from the one person who's there to help me to go off somewhere else where the bad guys will then capture me. That's everyone's favorite plot point that all these movies have. I really, really hate these kinds of movies because of that. It's like anytime I see that there's going to be anyway, every time I see a daughter or a son involved in one of these things, and they aren't just like a MacGuffin that show up at the beginning and show up at the end, and that's it. I just know it's going to be a bad time. I'm going to give this movie. I'm tempted to give it meh because it is kind of a meh movie. It is a well done movie, but because I hate the stupid daughter trope so much, I'm going to give it a cough.
Okay. You're giving it a cough. Good deal. All right, Mike, you're up next.
Erased.
Oh, hold on.
You
Mike,
know,
hold on. You're like
What?
hold on. You're like skipping the hell. Can you disconnect and reconnect and see if that fixes it? You're like robot-y voice.
Still? Is it bad or?
No, still.
All right.
It's either
Okay.
yeah.
I'll disconnect and reconnect. I'll be back.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
No problem. I just I figured we'd flush his connection and see if that would help it. Sometimes that'll do the trick, and sometimes it doesn't, and we'll see what happens. But
Yep. It's everything that the video was fine the entire time.
yeah, we can't tell what the frame drop rate is, but I wasn't the only one hearing it. You were hearing it too, right, Colin?
Oh, no, I was definitely hearing it.
Okay.
I was hearing it before we started the reviews, too.
Yeah, I was hoping that when I switched to you, it would go away and we'd be in good shape afterwards. But I didn't know if that was going to be the case or not. So, okay.
Okay. Is this any better?
Yeah, much.
Okay.
All right, great. All right, you're
That's
on,
because
Mike.
That's because I switched from the software microphone. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, Erased. Aaron Eckhart. Let me just say, I am a big fan of him as an actor. I liked him a lot in The Core. I thought he was great as Two-Face. There have been very few roles that. Thank You for Smoking. I thought he was great. So I had high hopes for this movie. God damn, was I wrong? I cannot wait to hear the story about the scars on his back, because they made such a focal point in the very beginning. So you know you're going to hear about this at some point. So I'm looking forward to this story. And the dude just got ghosted by an entire company after telling them how to break the locks. Okay, so this is basically like a heist version of an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond, where Robert is convinced to be a model and gives the modeling agency like $2,000, only to come back and find out that they're gone the next day, and it was all a scam. So they're driving along, and they roll down the hill off of the highway. And the first thing that comes to my mind is, thank God they were in a Saab. Because it's a safe car. And I'm hearing a George Carlin bit that I haven't thought about in forever. 40 minutes into this movie, and I am finding it very hard to stay interested in the story. The most interesting thing is that the security guard, air quotes there, security guard, that chased them through the hospital was in X-Men The Last Stand. He was the guy whose arms kept growing back when he was fighting Wolverine. And, you know, it really bothered me how this, like, Eckhart used every possibility to have, like, a teaching moment with his daughter while this whole thing was going on. Dude, you're fighting for your life. Just tell her what to do and be done with it. It all comes down to this. He sends her off. She doesn't want to go. This is a typical movie cliche move. And, of course, he's going to survive at the end because, oh, spoiler alert, he's going to survive at the end because why wouldn't he? When it's all said and done, I got to give this a meh, because I felt like the actors did as good as they could with the story, and as much as I like Aaron Eckhart, I can't give it any higher. This movie did absolutely nothing for me, not a thing.
All right, my turn, and I have to say I agree a lot with Mike. It seemed like they had almost nothing to work with for a script. We have seen similar tropes played out much better. All right. You look at The Bourne Identity. You look at Mission Impossible. You look at, a lot of different spy, burnt spy type movies, and you see things that are done much better than this. You see inside job movies that are done much better than this. I like Aaron Eckhart. I try to find movies that have him in it because I think he has the possibility to be a really good actor and elevate things. But I think he was just handed a real turd here. The CIA director, whatever in the heck her name is, or her title is, that is dirty, is a horrible character. The Halligate, executives, bad characters. I mean, there's just not anything redeeming about this movie. It just takes up time. And if he is ex-CIA, all right, and he has all these talents, why don't they spend more time on those talents? Showcase those more often, because the only talents that we really get to see is him a little bit building a bomb, blending into crowds, speaking foreign languages. That's not enough for us to get the story of what his depth of knowledge was if he was on this supposed kill squad. All right. He better have some really good martial arts, gunfire, sniper type, stuff if we're to believe that. So, no, this was not a very good movie. And I wish I'd have gone with my wife's suggestion of, isn't that the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it? Instead, when I told her that we had to watch Erased, and she thought it was Eraser with Arnold Schwarzenegger. That would have been a much better use of my time than watching Erased with Aaron Eckhart. So much like the other two, I cannot give this anything higher than a meh, and that's where it's going to land. It will not be something that I watch again.
Yeah, just watch Taken again.
Yeah, it's just not. This just doesn't do it. All right, now that leaves one more movie to review, and I am so curious as to what Colin has to say about this movie. So we have to go right to Colin and say, Colin, tell us what you thought of the 2017 Tommy Chong hit It's God.
It? Really? Yeah, It's God, Tommy Chong. So this movie it has elements that are reminiscent a bit to like things like UHF. It feels like that's the kind of movie they want to make. So this movie has Tommy Chong playing God, who you watch this all to know that we're spelling his name wrong. It's Gawd. Apparently, he's from a group of like a Todd. Basically, any name you can come up with that ends in odd, they come up with other ones that have other sections of the universe that they do. And there's another one named Todd who's very much like the Todd from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation in how he works. Just give you an impression of what that character is. But he can't keep his sun lit, so he wants our sun. He wants to take the sun away from God because we're so terrible. So God comes to Earth in corporeal form to try to get us to be better, which mostly consists of creating a YouTube show and doing lots of skits about how silly different religions are to humanity, and ends up with a long speech, which I will say there's a lot of truth in the long speech at the end. I feel like they kind of lost any idea of plot or movie here. It's like they had a beginning, They had a speech at the end. They had a whole bunch of skits in the middle making fun of religion. In thought-provoking ways. In their, they obviously didn't have anyone who knows anything about religion actually involved in creating the script. No one's gone to seminary, for example. But still, they had real things to say, and there was some worth to that, but there really wasn't much of a movie here. In fact, I'd say you get to the end of the movie, and then Todd goes crazy because, I don't know, because he was watching a bad reality show. Was that supposed to be the meaning? And then he decides himself to become corporeal on Earth. That part did not make any sense. I don't know what happened there. So the overall plot of God came here to save his son, the actual son, not Jesus, from Todd, and then somehow everything was good at the end. That didn't really, from a movie standpoint, it didn't really happen, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to describe because there really wasn't much there to describe. But the movie itself was enjoyable. I got some fun out of it. I'll give it a smirk.
Okay. A smirk from Colin. Mike, you're up. Tell us what you thought about It's God.
Are you muted, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, let's yep. Listen, this movie better be good. It better not waste Tommy Chong as the almighty. Wait a minute, Luke Perry? I think he's got a little more interesting. Tommy Chong is playing lead in a band of little people. This is everything right now, okay? She tries to give Jesus sandals, and Jesus says he doesn't need Jesus. No, every God needs God-like sandals. Wait. Stop for 1 second. Fishless sushi. Not just rice. There he is. God rest his soul. Luke Perry. He's making a joke about passing up a colonoscopy, though. That kind of stings, all things considered. Podcast on the YouTubes. Has anyone ever made it famous going that route? Soda Shack. I am so mad that I never got a chance to try Soda Shack. I'm not about to pay $40 for a can on eBay right now. I was very hopeful about this movie. I realized my hopes were too high because this is quickly turning into a stupid movie. The whole campfire talk over Chinese food. That part is winning me back over. And Tommy Chong may have just earned a place at my lunch with greatness alongside Gary Busey and Dog the Bounty Hunter. I may want to kill myself by the end of that lunch, but that's besides the point. Let me back up a second. The little blonde Steve. She, oddly enough, is one of my celebrity crushes. That's right. Thought I recognized her. That's Elena Gant. She was on Little Women, L.A. She also once played Little Britney, as in Little Britney Spears, until the bastards at Beecher's Madhouse made her stop because they claimed to own the trade, or they trademarked a little person playing Britney Spears as Little Britney. I digress. But now I'm back to being all lost on this movie, as during the final broadcast, Jesus, dude that was an underling in Twilight New Moon, is getting all spiritual. Yeah. Look, I was let down by this movie. All right, I expected more from Tommy Chong playing God. But the supporting cast was just enough. It brought it up to a smirk. So I'm going to give it a smirk.
All right. Oh, and then I get to bat cleanup here. All right. I had high hopes, pun intended, for this movie. All right. I'm thinking it's a God comedy. You know, it's got to be funny. It's got Tommy Chong in it. How can they not make a joke like every other turn? And while there were moments of humor in it, it just didn't ever like gel. It didn't come together. Every time they were starting to make headway towards the funny, it went another direction. And I, like Mike, was kind of caught off guard when I saw, oh, Luke Perry. That's weird. And it got me to thinking, other people that have played God successfully. Turns out there's a lot of people that have played God in movies, not necessarily successfully. But we can think of some. George Burns, great example. All right. George Plimpton, Whoopi Goldberg, Emma Watson, Trey Parker, Val Kilmer played God. All right. John Voight, Morgan Freeman, obviously. Rodney Dangerfield played God. Did you know that? Yes, he did. John Cleese, Paul Sorvino, Jim Parsons played God. I'm going to have to look that one up. May have to watch that. So, there have been a lot of people play God. Tommy Chong is not one that has played him successfully. I will say there's some of the little quips in the movie were funny. Some of the little witticisms were interesting. They'd make nice little quotes on a coffee mug. But overall, it was nearly a spiritual movie nor a real comedy movie. And, really, it just kind of fell flat for me. So I can't help but give this a meh, because it just lies right there in the middle again. The Shaq soda thing was just plain weird. And I still don't know why the Shaq sodas were on the pedals of the exercise bicycles. They never did answer that question. So unless somebody can explain to me how that amplifies the horsepower of a small person, hand-cranked, exercycle to get to 4,000 watts, I will be befuddled for a while. So a meh is what it gets from me. So there you go. It wasn't great, wasn't horrible, all the way around.
Yeah, I was so looking forward to that movie. I mean,
I know. We were let down.
Yep. I thought there was one God on your list that was not on your list that should have been.
Who?
Alanis Morissette played God.
Yeah, I skipped by her name. Yeah, Alanis Morissette. No speaking part in that one, but good God. Love the skee ball.
Well, of course, then we go into the whole, the God versus a God.
Mm-hmm. But I'm going to have to look up Rodney Dangerfield's Angels with Angles.
You probably don't want to do that. It's probably probably takes place in a casino, and there's a kid, and they're babysitting, because they're part-time hookers.
Well, it was his last movie ever.
Oh, God, that's not a good sign, all right? Raul Julia's last movie ever was Street Fighter, so let's listen. All right, random number, 1 to 45.
1 to 45. And we fire up the generator, and we get 15.
Why do I have a feeling I know this movie? Oh, yeah. Nope, not available. Sorry.
Okay. 39.
Oh, this one. Oh, it's a YouTube special. So we know that's available. Brick Mansions.
Huh.
All right, so this one, no, this is not a full disclosure. I've seen this movie. This is a remake of some other movie.
Oh, yeah, this is a Paul Walker flick. This is a 2014 action film starring Paul Walker.
This is a remake of something else.
It says in the list here. It says it's a Paul Walker take on Escape from L.A.
It says it's a remake of a 2004 French film, District 13.
Yes, and the guy that stars along with Paul Walker in this movie actually was a star in District 13. That's why. Okay. Anyway,
it was released 5 months after Walker's death. All right, next one, 10.
About 10. On Amazon, it's called Off the Menu.
The heir to a fast food franchise goes in search of the next big foodie sensation, but finds more than he bargains for in a talented and feisty chef from New Mexico. Starring Diana Ramirez. Whoops. I don't want to watch it right now. I just want to see the stupid thing. Will Newman. Looks like a bunch of no names. Mackenzie Moss.
Well, Maria Conchita Alonso is not a no name.
Yeah.
He was most famous from The Running Man.
Well, looks like you have something to watch with your wife there, Shaggy.
The secret ingredient is love. Yep. Looks like a...
It looks like the most common word in all the reviews on Amazon are Hallmark.
Well, there you go. It's definitely... Yes?
Dania Ramirez was in X-Men The Last Stand. He played...
Santino Fontani was in Frozen. He played Hans.
So X-Men: The Last Stand. She played one of Magneto's 3. She's the one who asks, other than you, that talks about Class 5 mutants at the. I recognize her.
And was evidently an American Reunion.
Was in Heroes.
And was in Heroes. And was just the lady in red in Jumanji: The Next Level. Okay. Well, that would be interesting. All right. Well, those are a couple good movies, I think. Maybe. We'll see. So, all righty. So, that's what we got coming up for the next show, which the next show will be on the 15th.
Day after Valentine's Day.
Aw. So sweet. So, you can...
Also, the day after the Daytona 500, baby.
Yeah, a week after the Super Bowl, so if there's any good commercials, maybe we'll talk about something that everyone's tired of talking about for an entire week. We'll see.
I don't think there's going to be as many good commercials because a lot of the big names that you expect to see good stuff like Budweiser and Pepsi, they pulled out. They're not doing.
Well, I mean, our commercial's going to play during it, so I mean, maybe we'll get more views.
What does that tell you?
Yeah, I mean, if the prices come down that much, that we could do it. That's all that matters.
You have to watch closely. It's a millisecond long commercial, but
that's what we can afford. It's basically subliminal advertising.
I was going to say, have you ever been watching TV and you see the start of a commercial and then it just do you want to be, and then all of a sudden it goes to Geico? Actually,
what it is that? Our commercial is playing on a TV in someone else's commercial. That's how we worked it out.
Brilliant.
So, yeah. All right, folks. But that's pretty much the show for tonight. We will be back in 2 weeks. Like I said, we'll be back on the 15th. There's no live appearances. There's no signings. There's no nothing. This is what it is, and it will be this way for a while. So don't forget, check out our social media network at PTR Radio on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you can find us. Check out PTRradio.com as the website. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast so that you can keep in touch with all of the episodes in case you missed one of us live. Don't forget. Also, tell all your friends about the show. That's really how we grow the show and how we, really get more listeners out there. And if you like a certain segment of the show, let us know. Drop us a line on one of the social media platforms. Say, hey, listen, what was the recipe for the drink of the night? Where does Mike get his haircut? Who designs Colin's shirts? Where can I get cool, personalized, stuff? All that stuff. If you need to know something, don't bother Google. Just message us. That's all that we can answer your questions. We can do it. So, you guys got anything else to add?
Rest in peace, Screech.
That's right. So, we didn't forget. Never forget. All right, folks. We'll see you in 2 weeks. I'm Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I am Mike the Ape Man.
Stick a fork in us, folks. We are done. Later.